8 biggest military machines ever made. When you think of military machines, don't you imagine enormous and scary machines? When the mission is critical and the risk is high, military personnel require vehicles they can count on to move them in and out of harm's way, while protecting them from threats. So, with that in mind, let's see the 8 biggest military machines ever made. Number 8. Zuber Class LCAC. The Zuber Class is a class of air-cushioned landing craft, known as the LCAC. This class of military hovercraft is the world's largest, with a standard full-load displacement of 555 tons. The aircraft is designed to sea-lift amphibious assault vehicles, such as marines and tanks from equipped or non-equipped vessels to non-equipped shores, as well as transport and plant naval mines. High strength and buoyancy of the craft are provided by rectangular pontoon, the main load-carrying part of the ship's hull. The superstructure built on the pontoon is divided into 3 compartments, with 2 longitudinal bulkheads, combat material compartment in the midsection fitted with tank ramps, and outboard sections housing main and auxiliary propulsion units, troop compartments, living quarters, and NBC protection systems. To improve working conditions in the battle stations, troop compartments and living quarters are fitted with air conditioning and heating systems, sound and heat insulating coating, and structures made of vibration dampening materials. The Zuber landing craft has a cargo area of 400 square meters and a fuel capacity of 56 tons. It can carry 3 main battle tanks, up to 150 tons, or 10 armored vehicles with 140 troops, or 8 armored personnel carriers of a total mass of 115 tons, or 8 amphibious tanks or up to 500 troops. Number 7. MIL Mi-26. The Mi-26 helicopter, the heaviest and most powerful helicopter in the world, was designed for carrying large-sized cargoes weighing up to 20 tons. It is the result of an early 1970s specification for a transport helicopter whose empty weight without fuel was not to exceed half of its maximum takeoff weight. It can be used for construction projects ranging from bridges to power transmission lines. The combination of high load carrying capacity and high cruise speed make the use of the helicopter economically efficient. The helicopter is loaded through the cargo hatch in the tail of the fuselage, with lowered ladder and subladders. The cargo cabin is equipped with 2 electric hoists and lifting loading materials, ensuring loading and carrying along with the cabin of cargoes weighing up to 5 pounds. The Mi-26 is the first helicopter with an 8-blade main rotor, which is mounted above the fuselage midsection on a hump. 2 turboshaft engines are mounted on top of the cabin with round air intakes above and beyond the cockpit, and exhaust ports are on the sides of the engines. The long bus-like body with fixed tricycle landing gears tapers to the nose and rear, with an upswept rear section and rounded nose, and stepped-up cockpit. The tail is swept back with slightly tapered fit with a large rotor on the right side. The flats are forward tapered and lower mounted on the landing edge of the fin. Number 6. Char 2C. Char 2C is a French super heavy tank, developed and deployed during World War I. It was, in physical dimensions, the largest operational tank ever made. The Char 2C was responsible for the tank frenzy of World War I, which saw both the Allies and the Central Powers debut armored vehicles that turned the tide of battle. Both sides tried to one-up each other with larger and more impressive tanks, and France pushed it even farther with a Char 2C. The vehicle had a loaded weight of 69 tons and measured nearly 40 feet long, carrying a 75mm long gun and a machine gun turret. It took a crew of 12 men in 2 separate compartments to operate. Number 5. The Gustav gun. At the beginning of World War II, the Nazi leader Adolf Hitler, eager to invade France, demanded the construction of a new weapon that could penetrate the concrete fortifications of the French Maggot Line, the only major physical obstacle that stood between the Nazi army and the rest of Western Europe. In 1941, a year after the invasion of France, the German arm manufacturer and metallurgist Gustav Krupp presented a huge cannon, which he offered for free to Hitler's army, to show its contribution to the war effort. The new weapon was a gun about 12 meters high, 47 meters long, weighing 1,350 tons, and was firing 10-ton shells through a 30 meters long pipe. 22 people could sit aligned on the barrel of the gun. The impressive weapon was known as the Great Gustav. This mortar was the biggest in the world, but is also never used in combat. The Japanese surrendered before its deployment. Number 4. USS Enterprise, CVN-65. The USS Enterprise was a 23rd Century Federation Constitution-class starship owned by Starfleet. She was the world's first nuclear-powered aircraft carrier. Clocking in at a length of 1,123 feet, she was the longest naval vessel in the world when she was built in 1958. The Enterprise was meant to be the first of 6 identical aircraft carriers, but costs for building just one were so high that the other 5 were canceled. It used 8 nuclear reactors for propulsion and housed a crew of 3,000 sailors. After serving for 51 years, the Enterprise finally went out of service in 2012. Number 3. Typhoon-class submarine. The Typhoon class, Project 941 Akula class nuclear-powered ballistic missile submarine were constructed at the Severodvinski shipyard. The Typhoon class submarine is of a multi-hull design, with 5 inner hulls situated inside a superstructure of the 2 parallel main hulls. The superstructure is coated with sound-absorbent tiles. There are 19 compartments including a strengthened module. which houses the main control room, and an electronic equipment compartment which is above the main hulls behind the missile launch tubes. The submarine's design includes features for traveling under ice and icebreaking. It has an advanced stern fin with a horizontal hydroplane fitted after the screws. The nose horizontal hydroplanes are in a bow section and are retractable into the hull. The retractable systems include 2 periscopes, radio sextant, radar, radio communications, navigation, and direction finder masts. The Typhoon-class subs are the largest military submarines ever built, clocking in at a staggering 515 feet long. Amazingly enough, for a vehicle of its size, the Typhoon was remarkably stealthy, thanks to a 5-layer hull of sound-dampening plates. Due to its large size, it allowed luxuries that a submariner could only dream of. But eventually, it was not really a pleasant boat, right? Number 2. Loon-class Econoplan. Is it a boat? Is it a plane? Is it the Loch Ness Monster? The Loon-class Econoplan, colloquially known as the Captain Sea Monster, is arguably a mishmash of all three, and has just reared its head for the first time in 30 years. The behemoth craft was developed by the Soviet Union as a sort of a hybrid between airplanes and ships. It can move over water without actually touching it. First entered service in 1987, it was the only one of its class to be completed, and has spent the last 3 decades hidden away at a pier in southern Russia. Ground effect vehicles, also known as ekranoplans, are sort of a hybrid between airplanes and ships. They move over water without actually touching it. The International Maritime Organization classifies them as ships, but they derive their unique high-speed capabilities from the fact that they skim the surface of the water at a height of between 1 and 5 meters. They take advantage of an aerodynamic principle called ground effect. This combination of speed and stealth, their proximity to the surface while flying makes them difficult to detect by radar, got the attention of the Soviet military, which experimented with several variants of the concept during the Cold War. This gigantic machine was even able to take off and land in stormy conditions, with waves up to 2.5 meters. Its intended mission was to conduct lightning seaborne attacks with the 6 anti-ship missiles it carried on the launch tubes placed on top of its hull. Number 1. USS Gerald R. Ford. The Gerald R. Ford class is a class of nuclear-powered aircraft carriers. The U.S. Navy's new aircraft carrier is the most advanced in the world, carrying more aircraft and weapons than ever before. The USS Gerald R. Ford is a $13 billion futuristic ship, complete with a gigantic flight deck and new electromagnetic system to launch aircraft. The state-of-the-art tech and operational systems mean aircraft will be able to take off faster to get to the fight quicker. At 1,100 feet, the new Ford carrier is about the size of 3 football fields. The Ford class is designed with the sailor in mind. The design incorporates features to improve the quality of life for sailors and to make maintenance easier. There was also a lot of consideration to put into how to improve survivability against a wide range of current and anticipated future threats, and that helps keep sailors safe. The aircraft carrier has state-of-the-art electromagnetic catapults and advanced arresting gear. The military will be able to launch about 33% more aircraft than it can from older carriers. The more aircraft the military can launch, the more bombs it can hit a target with. Which military machine made you feel the most amazed? Let us know in the comments down below. Make sure you subscribe to our channel and turn on your post notifications so you never miss a video from us. If you like this video, don't forget to give it a thumbs up. See you in the next video. Thanks for watching.